What's up, and welcome to the Music Hustlers podcast, the show with real world advice to help take your band to the next level. My name is Kenny, and I'll be your host. Today is a cool day, a special day, because I've got my homie, good friend, Nick
Antonucci.
Antonucci. I was like, I'm going to butcher this.
No, you're good. But, everybody does.
Antonucci. All right, man. Well, you play in a band called Alistair. That's what I was going to say after that. And you're just an all around good dude, cool guy. I'm excited to have you here. Excited to chat with you.
I try to be cool, you know. I'm just a dude.
Yeah, just a dude. We actually, this is the second time that we're doing this.
It is.
Yeah, because I unfortunately had a little mishap, and we'll say that the files deteriorated.
It's okay, man. You know, but, take two.
Yeah, take two. Hey, man, got to do what you got to do. But I'm excited to have you here. Excited to chat with you.
Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, but one of the things that I really wanted to ask you is what's going on with Alistair during quarantine?
Well, we are still working on new music. For a release after this record. So we're still writing, still getting together.
That's good.
We're actually shooting a new music video next week.
Oh, sick.
So by the time that this comes out, actually, we'll probably be in the throes of it.
Nice.
We are shooting a new video. It's really exciting. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be fire and shit. It's going to be nuts.
Nice. That's dope. Who's doing the video?
Jacob Reynolds.
Yeah. I just had him a couple of months ago, actually.
Yeah, he's our guy. He's a great friend of ours and just... overall fantastic videographer, editor.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great dude,
Good dude, absolutely. Mm-hmm. That's sick, man. So for the song or the music video that you're doing, is that going to be on the EP or is that just something completely different?
So yeah, that's going to be on the record that we're putting out at the end of the year. But it's undoubtedly the heaviest track on it.
Oh, nice.
Which is super sick. It's dark. It's really noisy. It's gonna be awesome.
That's sick.
So yeah, this is probably the heaviest side of this record that we're doing so far. But
nice.
Yeah, I'm very excited, man. We've been wanting to conceptualize and make this video a reality since we wrote the demo 2 years ago. So
yeah,
I'm very excited. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good, man. It's good to put out music, especially when you've been wanting to put it out for a while. I remember this one time I put out an EP that I literally sat on for like a year and a half, and I was just like, man, I want to put this out.
Yep. Hey, sometimes it's best though, man, because people are so excited to put stuff out that they put it out the wrong time and no one listens to it.
Yeah, so. Exactly. You got to strategically put shit out. You got to have a rhyme and a reason to what you're doing, and that's something that I noticed that Alistair does a lot. Is you guys always strategically plan out your releases, and you have kind of, I guess, an image that you kind of uphold. Let's talk about that actually. Okay. Let's talk about image a little bit. How do you when people think of Alistair, how do you want them to, or what do you want them to think?
Well, it's funny because I'm pretty lucky to say that we're all pretty good looking dudes, but
I can attest.
That's not me being biased. It's just like I think that my friends are very pretty. I don't know exactly if we're going for anything specific, but I like to be of the mindset, I grew up listening to like Bowie and stuff like that. So yeah. I look up to people like Bowie and I'm like, man, they really they are iconic, right?
Yeah.
You go to like a Bowie show, you don't go to see Bowie, you go to see an alien from outer space doing this thing, right? I mean, we're not quite that extreme, obviously, but we like to have a really good presentable look and to kind of give up this oh man, I don't even know how to describe it. Kind of this, not like sad vibe or anything like that, but just very, very, good looking, kind of easily recognizable. I think is the way
I feel the word.
Way to describe it. Nothing specific. Like we don't go around telling everybody what to wear, but but we definitely have suggestions. Like, hey man, you should wear that for that show, or we actually plan our outfits for our shows.
I agree, man. Anytime I'm performing ever, I'm the same way. I will sit and have my specific outfit lined up, exactly what I want it to be and all that.
Well, the funny thing is, man, our bassist Jake, before a show, like the day before a show, we'll be in rehearsals finishing up, our set or whatever. And at the end of the night, he'll just be like, yeah, so we sound pretty good, but what's everybody wearing tomorrow? and I can't agree more, because it's that's a big part of it. And people overlook it all the time.
Yeah, image, I hate to say it, But there have been times where I will watch or like see a band on Spotify or Facebook or Instagram or something, and I will not pay attention to them simply because their image isn't there.
Yep.
And I believe a lot of bands on the local level don't necessarily look at image as something that is essential, and I feel like that's a step that Alistair and you individually have above the rest is the
Thanks,
fact
man.
that you speaking of image though, like what's the mullet, man? What made you decide that was like your hairstyle? You're like, you know what, I'm doing it.
There's actually a really funny story about that. So I had really long hair for a while, and I just never cut it or took care of it. So like it looked like almost like I had a helmet on my head for a long time. So I went to go see my hairstylist Lane out in Phoenix.
Yeah,
and she was like, "So what do you want to do?" And I'm like, "Well, I like the length, but it looks terrible." So she's like, "Okay, hear me out, mullet." And I was like, "You know what? Just do it." And she did it, and I was like super stoked on it. So I don't plan on changing it.
I feel it, man. No, it definitely works for you. You've got like that rocker, like rock star vibe almost.
Thanks,
like
man.
It's a hairstyle you don't see a lot of people rock. So
yeah,
so
it's
I'm
funny, dude. Like less than 10 years ago, everybody was making fun of him, and now
Oh, yeah.
everybody wants one. I don't know what happened, but
hey, man,
cultural shift, I guess.
I guess things in the world change though. Things can get weird. But
yeah. Well, to go off what you're saying though about local bands with images, it's like that's it's not so much a vanity thing as it is a marketability.
Oh
thing,
yeah, absolutely.
Like if you're looking to take it seriously, like you should take pride in your appearance just as much as you do your music.
Yeah.
Like obviously you can have like the greatest songs in the world, but if you look like just a regular person who just doesn't really care about what they look like, people are gonna have a harder time taking you seriously. Like you almost have to form a persona. Like it's weird. And at first I was like kind of against it when I first started doing music thing. I was like, oh, that's not punk rock. But then I realized, no, that is punk rock.
Yeah.
That's literally punk rock.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And that's that's such a thing. Like, when I've said it before that sometimes when people look at musicians or they see musicians, like they look larger than life, and it's kind of up to us as entertainers, as performers to uphold that image, uphold that status to an extent, to where when people see us, we are what they envision us to be or whatever.
Exactly, and the thing is, like, even if you're on a very local level, your music could speak to 5 people, but those people still look up to you.
Yeah,
and it's like you should uphold that kind of standard, whether it's with your music or with how you present yourself publicly.
Yeah,
like. They look up to you for numerous reasons.
Yeah.
Because they see you on stage or they meet you and they're like, man, that person's out of this world,
Yeah.
So I think it's something that a lot of people should look into more.
Yeah, absolutely. More bands need to understand, that image is important. And it's something that shouldn't be taken lightly for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But let's shift gears a little bit. So I know you guys did record your EP all in house, right? You did it all by yourself.
It's actually 11 tracks.
Full album. My bad.
You're good. But yes, we did do it in a living room.
Oh, nice. Okay,
yeah.
That's sick.
Yeah, it's kind of cool, man, because like we do have access to studios and whatnot, but at the end of the day, like we have 2 sound engineers in our band.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, why are we not capable of doing this ourselves?
Yeah. I feel that. Absolutely.
And so, we recorded live drums. Like, it's not
sick.
programmed or anything.
Sick.
So all that, like, roomy stuff, like, is literally the sound of the living room.
Yeah.
And recorded guitars and all that in that same room, and vocals. We did that in that same room, and I don't know, like, it just turned out way better than I expected. Not that I didn't have faith in my bandmates, because, like, I'm not really a sound engineer, but it sounds studio quality when I show it to people. Like, dude, where did you record this? And I just feel so bad saying, oh, in a living room.
That's sick though, because I've actually, I believe I heard some of it, and it's fucking, like, quality is definitely there.
Thanks, man.
And I talk about it on the podcast about being DIY and doing things yourself. What would you say some of the advantages are to doing it yourself versus some of the cons?
Well, advantages, first of all, is that you're not spending anything unless you're buying equipment to record with.
Okay.
You're not paying by the hour, so if you need to take a break, you can without it being like, okay, well, you're still being charged at $50 an hour at a studio.
I feel that.
So there's that. You can also really, like, truly dial in your own schedule. Because,
Yeah.
like, yes, we did have a time frame that we wanted it completed by, and we finished it in that time frame. But there were also days where we would just sit and conceptualize things more, and kind of like, well, how can we make that sound better instead of it having to be like a last minute thing you do in a studio because you're
Yeah.
running out of time.
I feel that.
So we really got to hone in like our wall of sound approach. 'Cause that's kind of our thing. We just love it to sound huge and kind of crazy. But we really got to dial in like exactly what we wanted it to sound like without it being like, okay, you can only spend one day doing that and the rest of it's recording.
Yeah.
Like we could change it on the fly and make these crazy big adjustments if we needed to right then and there. The cons though is that your live room situation, especially for recording drums, is not going to be ideal.
Yeah.
Like it's just not.
Yeah.
It's not a sound treated room.
Yeah.
You're going to get these crazy reflections here and there, and mixing it is the same problem because your room is not tailored to be a recording or mixing booth. Like it's just a room.
Yeah.
So you go through a lot of revisions. Like you'll send your mix and you'll have like 10 messages saying, hey, yeah, let's change that, and then you'll send another one and be like, actually, I liked it better the first time. It's just back and forth is a little bit more chaotic because it's not as controlled of a room.
Yeah.
But I will take that over being super limited on the time that we have. Because we really are kind of perfectionists when it comes to sound.
Yeah, absolutely, and that is something that you have the advantage of time. Definitely you have the ability to kind of sit back and look at your stuff and hear it and be like, okay, let's make these changes. Like let's, rather than like you're saying, being on a time crunch. When you're recording with the producer.
Yep.
Do you have so like recording it yourself? Obviously, there's not a producer necessarily involved. Do you guys typically send it to people or anything like that, or do you?
We send it out for mastering.
Okay.
We don't master it ourselves.
Okay.
Because yes, we know a little bit about mastering, but nobody is confident saying that they're a mastering engineer in this band. So
yeah, I feel that.
We have a guy that we send it out to. I don't know where he's located, but he's definitely not in Arizona.
Yeah.
But he does a really, really bang up job. It's great. So we have been sending our singles off to him, and he'll send it out with like really quick like turnaround time.
Oh, nice.
And it's pretty wicked, man. So yeah, we don't master it ourselves. We just do the mix and production side of things.
That's sick. Do you, when you guys are writing songs, I know you said you kind of, sometimes you'll take time with them, but do you have any like pattern or anything that you guys do specifically when you're recording that helps you?
Man, it's always kind of chaotic actually when we're writing. Because I'm always writing demos, and I usually hate like 90% of them, and I keep like 5 or 6 good ones.
Yeah, of course.
But I'll record these demos, and I'll have Colin. Actually, I'm probably doing this later today.
Nice.
I'll have Colin come over, and we'll just work on this like one song all day, kind of get the ideas going for it, and we'll come up with a rough like vocal demo for it. And if we don't like certain parts, he'll come over again and change one part for me or whatever.
Yeah.
Until I like my demos to be pretty close to how it's going to sound when it's finished. Just because I really have a hard time getting inspired by something that sounds like shit.
Yeah.
Like if it sounds like shit in a good way and it fits, that's perfect. But if it just sounds like shit, I can't vibe with it.
You gotta make it as good as possible. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Do you have so you play guitar, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So do you write most of the music, or do you have?
It's kind of funny the dynamic because me and Colin wrote most of the songs on this record. Jack wrote a few of them. But for this new thing that we're doing, whatever it turns out to be, it's been very collaborative. Jake, our bassist, is writing stuff as well. So we're all just bouncing ideas off each other constantly about different things, and they're all so different, but it's kind of cool because I like variety. I don't want a record to sound like the same song 10 times.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so, it's a lot more collaborative this time.
That's good. Yeah. That's good because I say it all the time. You want your music to sound, different in its own right. Like each song to sound different in its own right. Well, it still sounds like it's still from the same group of guys, that wrote all of the rest of the songs.
Right. And when once the song has vocals on it, you can tell it's the same person. Well, then that's what you need.
There you go. Absolutely. Cool, man. So let's talk about the style of music that you play, because you guys are kind of more radio. I don't want to say radio rock, but you're more like that alternative rock.
Yeah. Kind of stadium kind of thing
the stuff that you could sell to a mainstream audience.
Yeah.
Well, at the same time, still having some screams and some heavier parts. How do you guys guys like manage to blend those together so well?
It's not like we really tried to go for anything specific. It just happened because
Yeah.
we all come from like a metal background,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, because you've played in metal bands for a while.
well, yeah, I was in LK for a long time. So was
Yeah.
Jake,
Yeah.
and Jack.
Oh, nice, nice.
Yeah. So yeah, we all come from metal backgrounds. The first thing that we ever did as Alistair, like a long time ago, was like a proggy metalcore EP that was like cool songs on it, but like we realized that we didn't love it as much as we thought we did.
Yeah.
So we changed our sound in like 2018, but we kind of went into it a bit directionless because I just knew I didn't want it to be metal.
Yeah.
That's all that was in my mind. I was like, I want it to be something else. I don't know what it is. And I started to realize as we're writing these songs, it sounds very like 80s and 90s with like almost like a Bring Me the Horizon spin on it.
Yeah, I feel that.
And I'm like, I've never heard that before. That's kind of cool. So we just kind of went with it, and that's how this record came to be. And it seems like every time we go to write something new, it's like, oh, this is the next evolution of that.
Yeah.
Like, even more experimental or whatnot,
Talking evolution, how do you feel about the evolution of your band or Alistair? Like, how have you guys grown over the past few years?
Oh, I would say it's been extremely positive. We've grown so much, not only as musicians and songwriters, but also just professionally and how we take this seriously. I can't say we've had any losses in terms of evolution.
That's awesome.
And we've kept the same lineup, and everybody has gone, balls to the wall with dedication.
That's great.
Which was something that, I will admit that we all kind of struggled with for a while. Myself included.
Yeah.
I just wanted to write music. I didn't care about marketing or anything like that.
Yeah.
But, the past year we've started taking this really seriously, and it's kind of cool because once you do, as, expensive or as, boring as that part of it is, you start to see the fruits of your labor much quicker.
Yeah.
You get the recognition that you want to see like that.
Yeah. If you're actually putting time and effort into it, you can you'll start to see stuff from it. You start to see the fruit of your labor for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I talk about it. I say all the time that if you just keep doing it, if you keep going and keep trying, eventually you'll gain some traction.
Exactly.
And the right people will notice it, or people in general will notice it if you have some sort of goal and some sort of outline.
Well, because we started taking it seriously and we started really promoting our shows the right way. And before that, we were opening it for some nationals. We opened up for I Set to Kill, and that was a great show.
Yeah.
And it had a good turnout. But the second we came around and did our own headliner, we packed the place out.
Yeah.
And that has never happened before, at least in my time. So that was definitely something that was eye opening. Like, man, this is what happens when you take it seriously.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was really, really eye opening, and it started to really put my faith in this thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool, man.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think the key takeaway from that would definitely just be take it seriously.
Mm-hmm.
If you want it, badder than any or badder or
more batter,
more badder. If you want it worse than everyone else, you can get it. But for real though, just take it seriously. If you want people to take you seriously, then you have to take your fucking self seriously.
Yeah, have fun with it.
Yeah.
But also take it seriously if you want other people to take you seriously.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And there's nothing wrong with, having a good time and we're playing fucking music. Like we're rock stars, let's be rock stars.
People are jumping around, they got beer in their hands. Like when I'm done my set, I'll join them.
Yeah, exactly. No, I feel that, man. I feel that 100%.
Yeah.
Cool. So I like to end every interview with one specific question, and that is, if you had a piece of advice to give a new hustler, someone who's just trying to break into the music industry, what would it be?
Take your time at first. Don't try to rush into it because you don't know what you're getting yourself into. And what I mean by that is, you can go in with the intent of your first band being your biggest one, but that's not going to happen. It doesn't happen to anybody.
Oh, yeah.
Don't put all your eggs in one basket, So just, hone your songwriting skills and realize that what you want to do is going to take a lot of time, effort, and money, and then see who comes for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, see who's willing to stay with you during that.
Yeah.
Those are your members.
Yeah. Yeah. Find those people that are down for the cause. And again, like, I was just talking to a dude about this earlier today. you need to make sure your band members are on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like
communicate.
Yeah, exactly. You guys all have to have the same goal, have to have the same plan, the same idea. You know, if you're all headed in the same direction, you'll eventually get there.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely, take time and understand that like that first project, that first few projects, dude. I've been in so many fucking bands, like, dude, like.
Oh man. Yeah. I mean, we've all been there,
Yeah,
man.
like those first few projects, you're probably, it's gonna take you a while to find your sound. It's gonna take you a while to find what you want. But if you give it time and you take it seriously, you give it your all, then you will get there.
Yep.
Cool, man. Well,
Oh.
Nick and Antonucci.
Close enough. For the record, it's Antonucci, just so everybody knows.
Antonucci. Where can they find you, my guy?
Well, nowhere live right now, but
Yeah.
Facebook, Alistair Band Official, Instagram, What is Alistair, and Twitter, Alistair Inc. Those are the handles, and be on the lookout for a new music video in the next month or so. So
New music video with
Yeah.
fire and stuff.
with fire and all, smoke and all sorts of things happening all at once.
Cool, man. Well, hustlers, thanks so much for hanging out with me and Nick from Alistair as we talked about taking yourself seriously, being dedicated to your craft, and all kinds of other cool things that I can't remember off the top of my head right now. But it's been a pleasure. If you want to check me out, follow me on Instagram at @TheKittyFerris. You can also follow the Music Hustlers podcast, both on Instagram and Facebook at Music Hustlers Podcast. And if you're watching this on YouTube, please subscribe and leave a like. It really helps me out. Thanks so much. We're out of here.